Intro. Stop lying to yourself. Right now. You've been pretending you don't hear that voice inside, the one whispering that you're wasting your life, the one that begs you to step up but watches you choose excuses instead. You scroll, you stall, you sabotage, and then you wonder why your life feels hollow. Don't act surprised. Don't act like you don't know. The truth is staring you in the mirror. You are capable of being more, but you've been living as less. And that weak version of you, it's about to die. The Stoics knew this fight. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, men who faced exile, slavery, loss, betrayal, and yet they wrote words that still ignite souls 2,000 years later. Not because they were perfect, but because they fought the same demons you're fighting right now: laziness, fear, distraction, despair. The only difference? They refused to surrender. And that's what Sculpted Grace is about. This is not just a video. This is a war cry. 12 Stoic lessons that will bury your excuses, kill your weakness, and forge the strongest version of yourself. If you have even a spark left in your chest, stay. Because the person you're about to meet, the new you, won't tolerate the old you ever again. Lesson 1: Your comfort zone is your coffin. You're dying. Not someday. Right now. Every second you choose the warm blanket of comfort over the cold reality of growth, a piece of your soul withers. Every easy choice you make is another nail in your coffin. Epictetus was a slave, beaten, chained, owned, yet he became one of the greatest teachers in history. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." What's your excuse again? Too tired? Too broke? Too scared? None of that matters, because the truth is you've been choosing to be buried alive by your own comfort zone. The Stoics understood what you've been running from. Comfort is the silent killer. It feels good in the moment, but it robs you of everything worth having: love, respect, success, freedom. You know what's comfortable? Scrolling your phone while your dreams rot. You know what's uncomfortable? Getting up before dawn to work when nobody's watching. You know what's unbearable? Regret. 20 years from now you'll either thank yourself for the discomfort you chose today, or you'll hate yourself for the comfort you clung to instead. So ask yourself, do you want the light pain of discipline, or the crushing weight of regret? Decide now, because every second you hesitate, the coffin closes tighter. Lesson 2: The war in your mind. Right now, inside your skull, there's a war raging. Two voices. One whispers poison: you're not good enough. You'll fail. Who do you think you are? The other roars: you are stronger than you know. You can learn anything. You were born for greatness. Which one have you been listening to? Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, carried the weight of an empire and still wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." He knew the real battle wasn't against armies or traitors. It was against the enemy within, the liar in your head that sounds like reason, but is really fear in disguise. That weak voice is clever. It doesn't just say you can't. It dresses itself up as wisdom. Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. Remember the last time you failed. That voice isn't protecting you. It's imprisoning you. And it isn't even yours. It's the echo of every doubter, every cynic, every coward who projected their fears onto you. The Stoics taught prohairesis, guarding your mind like a fortress, filtering every thought like a bouncer at the door of your soul. From this moment on, you don't let that weak voice pass the gate. Throw it out. Replace it with truth. You are capable, you are resilient, you are the master of your mind. Because until you conquer the war in your head, you'll never win any battle in your life. Lesson 3: Your excuses are death certificates. Every excuse you make is a death certificate. Every time you mutter, "I don't have time, I don't have money, I'm not ready," you bury another piece of your potential. Seneca, stripped of wealth, betrayed by those closest to him, exiled multiple times, still wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And that's what your excuses are: wasted life. While you explain why you can't, someone else is out there proving why they can. While you wait for perfect conditions, they're creating them. While you hesitate, they're building legacies. And here's what should really haunt you: your excuses aren't even original. They're recycled. I don't have connections, neither did Oprah. I don't have money, neither did Colonel Sanders. I'm too old, Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was 78. The difference between them and you: they buried their excuses and gave birth to possibilities. At the root of every excuse is fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of the unknown. But Stoicism teaches us that fear is smoke, and action is fire. Only fire clears the fog. So here's your challenge: write down your biggest excuse. Burn it. Literally. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the person who signs death certificates for their dreams. You are the person who signs their name under victories. Lesson 4: Pain is the price of power. You run from pain like it's your enemy, but the truth is pain is the only teacher you can trust. Epictetus had his leg broken by a master, lived in chains, yet he taught, difficulties show what men are. Every hardship is an X-ray of your soul. It reveals what's weak, what's untrained, what's soft. And instead of facing it, you hide. You numb it with entertainment, drown it with distraction, or pretend it isn't there. But pain doesn't disappear, it compounds. Every time you avoid it, it grows stronger, and you grow weaker. The Stoics embraced pain because they knew it was the forge. The gym burns your muscles, but the burn is proof of growth. Discipline stings in the moment, but that sting carves out the strength you'll need tomorrow. Look back at your life, the moments that shaped you, the ones that turned you into someone sharper, tougher, more alive. Weren't they born from pain? That heartbreak that taught you self-respect. That failure that forced you to level up. That loss that made you grateful for every breath. Stop running from pain. Chase it. Because the harder it tests you, the more it transforms you. Pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. Pain is your ticket to power. Lesson 5, Control the controllables, burn the rest. How much of your life have you wasted worrying about things you can't control? The weather. Other people's opinions. Traffic. The economy. Stoicism slices all of that nonsense with one sword. Focus only on what's in your control. Epictetus said, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control, and some things are not. And yet you obsess over what's outside your hands, while ignoring what is firmly in your grasp: your choices, your actions, your discipline. Here's the harsh truth: the more you waste energy on the uncontrollable, the more powerless you feel. The more powerless you feel, the more excuses you make. But when you shift your focus to what is within your command, you ignite power. Can't control if someone insults you? You can control your response. Can't control the economy? You can control your work ethic. Can't control the storm? You can control how you sail your ship. Imagine how much lighter your life becomes when you stop carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. That's not apathy. That's strategy. The Stoics weren't passive, they were warriors of focus. They mastered what was theirs and burned the rest. Do the same, and you'll stop being tossed around like a leaf in the wind. You'll stand like an oak in the storm. Lesson 6, Death is the ultimate teacher. Most people live as if they'll never die. They waste their days scrolling, gossiping, worrying about nonsense as if tomorrow is guaranteed. The Stoics never made that mistake. They carried death with them like a shadow, not to depress themselves, but to sharpen their lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." This wasn't a warning. It was liberation. When you realize death is always near, life suddenly becomes precious. The arguments you cling to feel foolish. The grudges you carry rot in your hands. Every sunrise becomes a gift, every moment an opportunity. Think about the people you've lost. Did their passing not snap you awake for a moment, reminding you that nothing lasts? And then, didn't you slip back into distraction, forgetting the lesson? The Stoic doesn't wait for tragedy to wake them up. They practice memento mori daily, remembering death. They remind themselves that the clock is always ticking, so why not live with urgency? Why not speak the truth, take the leap, love without hesitation, pursue what matters most? Death is the end of your excuses. It's the mirror showing you what's real. Don't run from it. Don't ignore it. Let it burn away the trivial, until only the essential remains. When you live with death at your shoulder, you stop wasting time. And when you stop wasting time, you finally start living. Lesson 7, The obstacle is the way. You keep praying for an easy life, but the Stoics prayed for strength to handle a hard one. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle you face isn't blocking your path, it is the path. That rejection wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of a better one. That failure wasn't proof that you're worthless, it was the teacher sharpening your craft. That closed door wasn't the universe shutting you out, it was redirecting you to the one you were meant to walk through. Look at history. Greatness is never born from ease. Churchill's courage was forged in war. Nelson Mandela's wisdom was carved in prison. Your heroes weren't handed their victories, they bled for them, they fought through walls you would have quit at. Why? Because obstacles are not dead ends. They are raw material for transformation. The Stoic doesn't whine, "Why me?" The Stoic says, "Good. This is fuel." Every problem is a chance to build resilience, to become unshakable. You can either see the wall in front of you as proof you should stop, or as proof you're on the right track. The harder the obstacle, the greater the opportunity. So stop running. Lean into it. Because the thing you fear most might. Lesson 8, control what you can, release what you can't. How much of your suffering comes from trying to control things you never could? The weather, the economy, your boss's mood, the opinions of strangers. You treat them as if they belong to you, but they don't. Epictetus said it simply, some things are in our control, and others are not. Your mind, your choices, your actions, these are yours. Everything else is wind and waves. Yet most people spend their lives screaming at storms instead of adjusting their sails. No wonder they're miserable. The Stoic doesn't waste energy on the uncontrollable. They protect their peace by focusing ruthlessly on what's theirs to command. Think about how different your life would be if you lived this truth. Instead of spiraling when someone insults you, you'd choose calm. Instead of collapsing when plans fall apart, you'd adapt. Instead of clinging to expectations, you'd meet reality with strength. You'd finally see the difference between pointless resistance and powerful action. The world is chaotic. People are unpredictable. Fortune is fickle. But your response, that's your kingdom. That's your fortress. The man or woman who masters this lesson becomes untouchable, because no storm can sink a ship that sails by choice, not chance. Lesson 9, your emotions are messengers, not masters. Anger, fear, envy, desire. These emotions can hijack your life if you let them sit in the captain's chair. How many times have you said something in rage you later regretted? How often have you let fear stop you from taking the leap? The Stoics weren't robots. They felt deeply. But they refused to be enslaved by those feelings. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." He understood that emotions are not commands, they are signals. They tell you something, but you decide what to do with that information. Picture this: anger flares up when someone disrespects you. The weak response? lashing out, escalating, burning bridges. The Stoic response: recognizing anger as a signal I value respect, and then choosing a rational response that preserves dignity and power. Fear rises before a challenge. The weak self hides. The Stoic self listens, then steps forward anyway. The key is simple but not easy: pause, examine, then act. When you treat emotions as teachers instead of tyrants, you stop being dragged around by impulses. You become steady, clear, and dangerous in the best way. You stop reacting. You start responding. And that makes you powerful beyond measure. Lesson 10: Discipline is freedom. Your weak self thinks freedom means doing whatever you feel like. Sleep in, skip the workout, eat whatever you want, binge endless entertainment. But that's not freedom, that's slavery to impulse. True freedom, the kind the Stoics lived and preached, comes from discipline. Discipline is the chain that liberates you. It's the habit that gives you mastery over your body, your mind, and your life. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he still wrote nightly in his journal to discipline his thoughts. If the most powerful man in the world needed structure, what makes you think you don't? Every time you practice discipline, you purchase freedom. When you wake up early, you buy time. When you save money instead of wasting it, you buy options. When you exercise, you buy health and strength for tomorrow. Discipline is the price of greatness, and the weak self hates it because it feels hard in the moment. But ask yourself, what's harder, 30 minutes of discomfort in the gym or decades of regret in a weak, sick body? What's harder, 2 hours of focused work now or a lifetime of mediocrity? The Stoics knew the secret: self-control is the highest form of power. Discipline isn't punishment. It's training. It's preparation. It's liberation. You either master yourself, or you'll be mastered by everything around you. Lesson 11: Build your character, not your reputation. Most people live like puppets, their strings pulled by the opinions of others. They chase likes, applause, approval, desperate for validation from people who won't even remember their names in 5 years. Marcus Aurelius saw through this illusion. It never ceases to amaze me: we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Think about that. You love yourself more, but you hand your power to strangers. That's insanity. The Stoics taught us that reputation is fragile, fleeting, and mostly out of our control. Character, on the other hand, is permanent and entirely within our command. When you build your character, you build something indestructible. Your honesty, your courage, your resilience, these can't be stolen, twisted, or erased by gossip. Reputation is what people say about you. Character is what you are when nobody is watching. Seneca warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." That craving for external validation is poverty of the soul. Stop chasing applause and start chasing virtue. Do the right thing, not the popular thing. Stand firm in your principles, even when they're mocked. Because reputation may open doors, but character keeps you standing when those doors slam shut. In the end, your character is your legacy. Build it like your life depends on it, because it does. Lesson 12, live for today, not someday. Your weak self has one favorite word: someday. Someday I'll chase that dream. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll get serious about my health. But here's the truth: someday is a graveyard where dreams go to die. The Stoics knew that life is now, not later. Seneca reminded us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. You're not short on time, you're short on urgency. Every time you say someday, you steal from today. Every time you wait for the perfect moment, you let another imperfect moment slip through your fingers forever. Think about it. How many opportunities have you already buried under the weight of hesitation? How many relationships never started, goals never reached, lives never changed, because you waited? Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for an audience but for himself, because he knew every day could be his last. That's the mindset of the Stoic warrior. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for the fear to fade. Stop waiting for permission. Life doesn't wait, death doesn't wait, time doesn't wait. So why are you? The strongest version of yourself doesn't live in someday. They live right now. And if you're serious about transformation, you'll choose action today, not tomorrow, not later today. Final battle cry: the weak you is dead. It's done. The weak version of you, the one who made excuses, the one who lived in fear, the one who bowed to comfort, they didn't survive this. They died somewhere along the way, suffocated by truth, buried by discipline, destroyed by the unstoppable force of who you really are. What remains is unrecognizable. Stronger. Clearer. Fiercer. The real you, the one the world hasn't seen yet, the one that refuses to settle, the one that understands Stoicism isn't a theory, it's a way of life. From this moment on, you don't tolerate weakness. You don't negotiate with excuses. You don't waste your life on someday. You live urgently. You live deliberately. You live like Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus intended, with courage, with strength, with unshakable control over your mind. You are no longer a slave to impulse. You are no longer broken by struggle. You are no longer afraid of death. You are free. You are unbreakable. You are alive. Smash that like button if you buried your weak self. Drop in the comments, the weak me is dead. The strong me is alive. Share this with someone who's still chained by comfort. And subscribe to Sculpted Grace, because we are building an army of the unbreakable. This isn't the end, this is the beginning. Welcome to your new life, warrior.